that can educate you, and maybe like here too, you understand, or you attend other investment seminars, you'll be educated on it, and then you will monitor it by yourself. But you know, because of the level of capital we are committing, what I will advise is buy, and then just watch it. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be an everyday something. Hey, where is it today? Hey, where? No, 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 no. Just buy, because it can be discouraging. If you bought at 10 naira and the thing comes down to 4 naira, hey, that is when you know the difference between you and I. Because for you, the owner of the money, you are like, you know. But for me, who has taken it as a profession, I will be calm. Maybe because it's not me that is putting down the money, you know. But you won't be calm. But in order to avoid all that, it's better you just leave it. If it goes to 4 naira, just put your eyes away. And then if it goes up, what I can assure you is that if you go to a good stockbroker, they will recommend good stocks for you. I'm not asking you to patronize me, no. What I'm saying is go to a good one so that they will recommend good stocks for you. So that even if it goes down today, there is tendency for it to go down, to go up tomorrow. But some people are wicked. It is the stocks that they want to do away with that they will recommend for you. And then you buy, and then the thing sits down, 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 down for 3 years. And that will discourage you normally, you know. Yes, mommy.
Thank you very much, sir. So I think I'll just take a quick comment on the savings and investment part before I ask my own question. So I totally hear you when we say that leaving money in the bank, doesn't yield much interest. So there are short-term investment goals, there are mid-term, there are long-term. For something that will take like 5 years and all that, of course, you don't expect to keep the money where they'll pay you 1.5 to 3%. But for short-term conversion, like Mr. Fela said, I have all my money in land and I need to quickly get 5 million. The truth is, to get that land sold and all that, if I'm looking for money that urgently, I'll sell under duress, which means I will not be able to make the money, or I don't have luxury of time to wait. So that is why it's good to separate savings from investment. Now, talking about savings that can quickly yield and turn money over for you, apart from keeping money I do in the banks, you have things like mutual funds. Mutual funds pay you much higher than what your regular savings will give you. You have things like fixed deposits that will also pay much higher. So instead of keeping our savings idle, we can keep in such instruments, such investment opportunities, and we can get something higher while we know we can quickly turn it over. Now, that is about it. Then you also mentioned something about inflation rates. If you're putting money into mutual funds, I know some organizations, Stanbic and FBM Quest, for instance, allows you to put money in mutual funds in dollars. So when you are earning, when they are paying you at the end of the day, you are cashing out is in foreign currency. So that helps you also to beat inflation around depreciation of Naira. So quickly to my own question. So for some of us, I hear you, we don't have that much shares. I think most of us got flogged in the last stock exchange crash. In fact, when I started work, the kind of people I was surrounded with at that time are people that were like old first bankers. Shares. So I can say for the first few years of my working career, it was in shares. But I didn't have that much. I didn't have that much. So you have things scattered everywhere. There's all over the place. You don't even know how to start tracking or how to start gathering things together. So my question is, how do you start tracing? Some receipts you can find, some you can't find. Some certificates you can find, some you can't find. How do you get someone, or how do you start tracing all these things scattered all over the place and pulling them together? It may not be much. I have somebody oversee it for you. That's one. The second question for me is on bonds. So I wish, so why is it bonds not so pronounced? When I know my money is assured, and of course I'll earn some interest on it, as against stock where money loss, especially if you're ordinary shareholder, your money loss and that's the end of it. Why is bonds not so pronounced for people to take advantage of? Or are we not the one paying attention to?
not so pronounced.
Yes, you hear more of stocks, and shares, but you don't hear bonds. Meanwhile, this sounds more of money guaranteed as against the stocks. Thank you.
Okay, let me start from from your question. Why is bond not so pronounced? I like that. Let me tell you something. This Nigerian Stock Exchange that we all hear about today started with trading in bonds in the 60s before shares came in. You know us now. Anywhere there is so much mudu, sorry, how do I put it? There is so much money trying to attract people. The reason why bond is not so pronounced is because of the rate of return. In the last few years, bond was doing 15, 16. Some bonds. But about 3-4 years ago now, I think 2017 precisely, the federal government, of course, you know that banks, they invest heavily in bonds because they know that it's sure banker, their money will come, you know. And then federal government said, if you are going to invest 1 to 49.9 million naira in bonds, treasury bills, federal government bonds, whatever it is, then you have to go to a stockbroking firm. They call it federal government savings bond. So it is when you are investing from 50 million and above that you can go for treasury bills, FGN bonds, and stuff like that. So basically, it's because of the return. And because at that time, people were buying shares of companies and they were getting double the amount, there was no patronage for bonds. If you bought shares of First Bank, for instance, at 20 naira, and within a few weeks, the thing gets to 40 naira, that is what the brokers were selling to them. They were not selling to them the bonds that, even though the return is small, but it's consistent and your capital is guaranteed. So they will tell you, look at my client yesterday or last week, he bought share by First Bank at 20 naira. Today, it's 30 naira, it's 40 naira. That's what they were marketing. They were not telling them that 30 naira can become 10 naira. And they were not telling them that if you put your money in bonds, you will get your capital, your principal, plus interest. And then some of us will look at it. Okay, instead of me put my money in bond, I get 10% interest. Why don't I take it to Alaba, you know, and open shop and buy and sell and get more money? That's basically what happened. Now, there has been a lot of effort, like the FDN savings bond I told you about, is done every month now. Every month. They are trying to reach out to retail investors like you and I to say, look, oh, there is bond. But because the interest changes every now and then. In fact, there was a time it went as low as 4%. Yes. And somebody will say, how will I put 10 million naira in an investment? And then you give me 4% per annum. Who does that? That's not encouraging, but it's market driven. When the market became favorable for the bond market, the something has gone up now to between 9 and 10%. But still, it's not attractive to some of us because we feel we can get more from elsewhere. So I get what you mean. There are efforts to propagate bonds more now, so as to tell people that. And again, I think what didn't help us was the MMM and all these other schemes that came up. A lot of people, they would rather take their money to that kind of investment than something that is steady, even though the interest is small. Now, your first comment was about, there's something about savings and investment. Just trying to buttress what you said. Yeah, I mean, like you said, that's just the way it is. you can't say because of whatever you go and put all your money in. In fact, if you put all your money in building and you need cash and you come to me, you want cash, hey, I will hit you. I will give you the cash, but your interest will be high. Eh, maybe it's you now. I know you own assets, and I will still take that asset as collateral. You see? Very funny, isn't it? Any other question, please? Yes, ma'am.
I was still asking because personally, I don't like being at the mercy of people.
Mm. Mm.
So if I'm going to give a broker money to buy me shares, and how do I get to know that he's not buying some shares that is going to give me some kind of heart attack? Some things that, where can I get information? Because you cannot afford to be at the mercy of somebody in business.
Thank you, ma'am. I get you. And that's why I said go to NGX website. I think now they call it www.ngx. N for Nigeria, G for global, X, like in X-ray, ngxgroup.com. Go there. You will get information about prices of stocks. And then there is another company called Nairametrics. Nairametrics. Go there. I'm not even going to talk about my own company because those are the companies that can put out information. Because this thing involves research. They do research, they put out information, and all these things cost money. You can go to Securities and Exchange Commission as well to get you a list. There is a place you go there, they will give you a list of stockbroking firms, and then you can choose. And then you can also do it by recommendation, maybe through a friend that you know is vast in shares and something like that. So there are places that you can get information. And also, another thing we can do is maybe later I can get your contact from Daddy, and then we can talk more, because some of these things you can see the information and then you still have problem deciding. You understand? But at least, first of all, you have a list of the stockbroking firms. Secondly, you have a list of the shares. You have an idea of their prices. So if they say First Bank is today 12 naira, and then they say Fidelity Bank is 3 naira 80 kobo or 4 naira, and you want to buy 1 million unit of First Bank, you know that is 12 million. If you want to buy 1 million unit of Fidelity, you know that is like 4 million. And so that will give you an idea of what you want to do. And then once you see the companies, you see one that fancies your interest, we talk. I can give you from little experience that I have to say, okay, instead of this, why don't you go for this? It's not guaranteed. I need to, because if I know the secret, my sister, I won't even be sharing with you. I will just be making the money on my own. So, but we can talk. That's the essence of it. We can talk, we can exchange ideas. I can give you information about the company, and even the prices that we are talking about, they are driven by so many things. Like recently, you remember the issue of Otedola and First Bank. Such things can affect the price. They can say, okay, Otedola is the one coming into the company now. I think that company is going to do well. And then people will start buying, and then the price will go up. That's why I said, think long term, but take advantage of inherent short-term opportunities. When it comes to you, please take advantage of it, so that you don't come and tell me tomorrow that I bought First Bank 3 years ago. He's doing this. When it was up, what were you doing? You understand? But shares generally is supposed to be long term. In fact, you should look for shares that will pay you dividend every year. Shares is meant to take care of you at the old age. In fact, if you were older than this, I wouldn't even advise you to go into shares. I would tell you, go and buy bonds. Because you may not be able to carry that level of risk that shares entails. So you can see, but it's doable. You can do it. Yes, ma'am.
Completely out. Says is, if I buy shares today and the shares goes down badly, and I decide to forget about it, I just leave it, believing that sometime it will go up. Is there a possibility that you can lose out completely, no matter how long you wait for it? You know, like forex. Forex, you can lose your money completely. Can you lose your money completely in shares?
Okay. I will answer that question indirectly, and I will tell you, but I will come to your question later. I just remember something that our mommy said earlier, in terms of if you have it all over the place, there is something we call global search. That global search, what it does is it will look out your name. If you remember the name with which you bought those shares and your address, the address that you used. So it will look out the names, all the names, whether it was your maiden name, your marital name, just put it out to us, and then it's not us that will do it, CSCS that will do it. They will do a global search, and they can tell you where your stocks are hanging, whether it's with a stockbroking firm or it's with a registrar. They will tell you. So you can do that. Also, there is what we call e-dividend mandate. Whereas if you complete that, you don't have to wait for warrants. There's no longer warrants anyway. Your dividend will be paid into your account. But you have to open an account with the company first. So the first step is open an account with the company and then ask the company to do a global search for you. They will just submit your name that you use in buying those shares and your address that you use then, and then it will bring out everywhere that you have shares, whether it's one stockbroking firm or another, whether it's registrar A or registrar B, it will bring out everything in one statement. And then from there, it involves a lot of paperwork, signature, filling of forms like that, but at least I can assure you that everything will be put together into one statement for you. That's how that one is done. Yes, mommy, I was going to respond to you. I think the direct answer is that it is possible that you lose your money completely. And let me tell you how it is possible. For instance, if the company folds up, if you buy share in that company, they are not obliged to compensate you. Unlike NDIC. NDIC is Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation. Those ones, they compensate people that lose money in bank. So if your bank folds up, for instance, NDIC will compensate you. Whether it's 50% of your deposit, whether it's 20%, I don't know. They know how to work it out, but they will compensate you. But in terms of shares, yes, we have what is called Investors Protection Fund. But that one will deal with if you have been defrauded by a stockbroking firm. That's when you can seek compensation. But if you invest in the shares of a company and the company goes bust, you can lose your money. It's possible. That's why it's good for you to have a good stockbroker, so that at least from experience, it will tell you to go for companies that it thinks will do well, will not go bust. But there is no company that can. You have heard of Lehman Brothers in the US. They are a bank, an investment bank that has been existing for 150 years. They went bust. So it's possible. That's why we said, don't use all your income for investment. Remove expenses, remove savings before you go and put it in investment. Because even me, I don't have power over that. I can tell you because of what Fidelity has been doing. Recently, they appointed a woman as the MD. That woman did well. They are paying 35 kobo. And the stock is, it just came to 3 naira 89 kobo recently. It was doing like 2 naira something, 3 naira. So like that now, we look at the antecedents and we recommend, but we don't know what can happen. No. The bank can go bust tomorrow. And it's not my fault. Me, I'm just there recommending, JJ. So it's quite possible. But if you put your money in good companies, the likelihood, the chances are very slim that you will lose your money completely. But the price can go down and up. Yes?
What was it that was doing at this time? So if you take opportunity of private placement, there's Suko, the company, you don't even know where they are, the likes of Japan Oil and whatever it is that they are called. Then Suko, what's the, how do you redress such investments? Because you don't even know where to place them.
Okay. I mean, it's quite unfortunate. Private placement is a very risky venture. Unfortunately, when they sold private placement, then our regulator, the SEC, they were not very proactive in terms of their roles. So they didn't do a lot of regulation on those companies that came up with private placement. By the way, private placement is you raising money privately. That's what, forget about all the drama that they put in the note. It's just, I'm raising this money privately. In other words, you are not even supposed to go to more than 20 people or 50 people. No, you are not supposed to. It's for you to go and tell them, I'm trying to set up a company, or I just set up a company, I need finance. And then you talk to people like between 20 to 50, not more than that. That's what private placement is for. And once you do it, you have obligation to those people that raise the money, that contributed the money. You understand? But unfortunately, they were not regulated. They were not. So that was what happened. And for those that have gone bust, by the way, Japan is still in existence. It's called Japan Gold now. So you can still get your money back a little from that one because the company is still existing. But for other companies that even me, like, hey, what did they call that company that was doing, is it bread they were doing that time? They have their office somewhere in Ogba. I think it's bread. Hey, this bread, we used to buy it at Allen Avenue then. Big treat, like big treat. They came to the market, they collected people's money. The only thing we can see now is one building in Ogba. Anything short of that. I'm not trying to play down any company, but that is exactly what happened. So private placement wasn't meant to be for everybody. It's just from 20 to 50 investors. Once you get 50 investors, you close shop. If you are going to get more than, if you desire to get more than 50 investors, there are other steps that you have to follow. And if you follow that, you are not likely going to lose money with such companies. But unfortunately, our regulators, they looked elsewhere, they threw caution into the winds, and then people came, all sorts of companies, they came, they raised money, and we don't know what happened to them. The private placement.
She went into preservation, food preservation. What she does is that she buys from farmers when it's very cheap, and she's supposed to store it and sell it at a higher price. I think she raised money in billions, but the thing has busted now.
Exactly, you know. I think the message is that if we must do it, let's do it with reputable companies or reputable people, either on recommendation or those that you see on reputable websites. You understand? At least nobody is saying that investment cannot go wrong. But, you know, the level of loss can be managed a little bit. And then do it when you are comfortable. Don't do it when you are struggling, no. I beg. Do it when you are comfortable. When you know that this money is not going to give too much trouble for you. Because me too, I cannot guarantee you. Then they used to tell people, come and buy this, it will become this. There's nothing like that. To me, I won't tell you that. I can only try and advise what I think is good. And we always say that past past events do not guarantee future returns. The fact that the company did well in the past doesn't mean that. But the assurance I can give you is that we will recommend for you companies that we know that are good, not just, I won't recommend Big Street for you. I won't recommend Gold Insurance. I will try and recommend companies that I know that, depending on how much you want to invest. I think we have taken so much of our time. I'm sorry if I have taken your time too much. The real estate person will come for his own presentation now. And so that if it is still possible for us, we'll take the crypto. I think our brothers have gone for the light refreshment that we have for us. So when that one comes, at least that will refreshing us a little bit. And then if we still have time, we'll take the crypto. Because the crypto is supposed to be taken, or we want to take it remotely. If it is possible, we'll do that. But if it's not possible, we'll just end with real estate. So over to you, my brother. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ikoje Samuel. I am the MD of Silver Pacific Homes. I'm an investor, invest in majorly real estate, pharmaceuticals, and food. Real estate because we all need shelter. Pharmaceuticals because at some point we all need drugs. But that dawned on me when the COVID happened. And the only thing we were allowed to go out to do was to just go to the pharmacy to go get drugs and food. Then food because we must all eat. So those are the three major places where I invest. But today, I will be talking about property investment. That's what I will be talking about. First of all, I want to thank the Men's Fellowship of Root of David for putting this event together. Just as my uncle has said, yeah, there are not so much people because this event is clashing with another program. But for those of us that are here, let's count ourselves favored, is to learn the questions that were coming in, the experiences that Uncle Amfela has shared. It's really, really amazing. Thank you very much, sir, and thank you everyone for coming. Today, I'll be talking about property investment. He has explained about what investment is all about. It's just you having to buy a form of could be anything, but in this case, we are talking about real estate. It could be land, it could be house, whatsoever it is, landed properties, and with the aim of getting return in time or over time. That is just what property investment is all about. And let's go to slide 3, please. Let's just talk about the types of real estate that we have. We have the commercial real estate, residential, industrial, the agricultural. On commercial, we are looking at, for example, like an office space. If you're building, let's say, a high rise, okay, maybe 10th floor, 15th floor, you have spaces, okay, that is a commercial real estate. For example, like I have a brother of mine who took a space somewhere at just close to Shongutedo. I think it's a 7th floor, and that a floor cost about 10 million naira to rent in a year. And I looked at the building. If I were to build such a build, maybe I buy the land because it's facing the road. I could buy the land for 150 million or 200 million, and with another 400 million, I could put up the building. So around 500 million, then I have up to like 7th floor. So which means in a year, I could make 70 million naira, from such building. So an office space is a type of a commercial real estate. For example, shopping complex. ShopRite is not really in business of supermarket. They are in the business of real estate. I must tell you that, because they are not the only one occupying the spaces they have in there. They have a lot of spaces they are letting out. So they are, I would say, in a way, they are in a form, they are in a business of real estate. Okay, for example, resort, hotels, event halls, those are also commercial properties, where you can buy, people coming to lodge, in a resort, or maybe in a hotel. Okay, so people coming to lodge in there. That's a form of commercial real estate. Events, all just spaces where people can use for short, for hours, and you get paid. I remember one of our events some time ago we did at Sky Mall. We had to pay 700,000 naira for just 2 hours, event. So imagine if they were having if they were to have like 2 or 3 of such events in a day, that is a whole lot of return coming for them. So these are potential returns that commercial properties can bring to any investor. Also, if you look at on the part of residential, maybe you are talking about apartments. Okay, which as let me also on commercial, for example, you could have you could have a particular let's say condos or apartment, maybe on a high rise, maybe on 7, 8, 9 floors. You have like up to 30, 40 flats in it, and you put those flats for rent. Maybe, for example, maybe it's in Lekki 2 here, and you are renting it for between 4 million to 6 million every year, multiplied by the number of units that you have. That is a whole lot of money return that we're looking at. Also, if you come to residential, we have the apartments, bungalows, duplexes, and terraces, depending on what you are building. And again, it also may location may determine, which I'm going to talk about later. Then when we talk about the next one, the industrial real estate, we are looking at something whereby it has to be where government has marked for industrial activity. So you are buying, you're putting up warehouses where people can come store a whole lot of things. I have one close to my house at Beechwood. They call it Fragen. It has this massive warehouses that Dangote is usually puts his cement. I think that place is the major cement hub for the whole of Etiosa and Ibejuleki, and I think Ikorodu also. So warehouses, okay, it's also a part of industrial. Then agricultural, we say like farmland. Okay, you can buy farmlands and you plant cash crops. Somebody was discussing with me about rubber. You have you have the land, you plant rubber. After 4 or 5 years that the rubber has grown, you can rent that farm out to companies like Michelin, to Dunlop. They come and pay you monthly. He gave me examples of people who got 15 million, 20 million, 30 million per month from rubber plantation. So yes, it is, you may say farming, but it is a form of real estate, because if you don't have a land where you're going to plant that, then we are not there yet. So these are a form of real estate that we have. Now, let's talk about location, which is the next one. Now, location is key when it comes to real estate. Location is key. It's very important. You want to invest in a place that has potential for growth. Potential for growth. For example, while I was in secondary school, 1996/2002, Victoria Island Secondary School, the only major community around there was, okay, I think we had Mobile. There was no ADAX. ADAX used to be our toilet those days, by the water. All those Oniru you have there used to be our football field. But over time, I watched everywhere, including this place. They used to call this place Isoko Village. I'm from Isoko. They used to call this place Isoko Village those days, but a lot of us may not know. A lot of us may not know that these places were once forest, were once bush that nobody wanted to come, but some people they had foresight and came. Now, so when it comes to location, you have to look at location that has potentials. Now, also, locations also determine the amount of your initial investment. Let me give you an example. Like, if you bought, when Lekki was coming up around 99, 2000, 2001, if you had 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, you could purchase land in Lekki Phase 1. You could, okay, but now if you are going to buy a 600 square meter, depending on the area, even waterfront can go as high as 250, 300 million, 400 million naira in Lekki Phase 1. But most of those lands were bought 1 million naira, 2 million naira those days. So you now say, okay, I still want to own property in Lekki. Then you now have to buy at the current market value. Now, you would have to wait until that property goes up, maybe before you sell. You may have lots of reasons why you are buying. Maybe you are buying, which I'm going to come to. You may want to buy to sell, or you want to buy to put on rent. But those are things that I would be talking to us very soon. So for those who are going to come into real estate investment, location is key. Now, if you said you missed Lekki, then Ibejuleki is just rising. Ibejuleki is just rising. My parents, when they came to this place in 1996, precisely Badore, my dad bought his land for 30,000 naira as a Greenville estate. And today, if you want to buy a plot of land there, you are talking about 20 million, 25 million. My dad didn't want to buy. We just came from Ibadan. It was like, this bush, nothing is happening here. But my mom forced him to buy the land. Like, Mr. Man, what would you be doing with that money? And he looked at it and said, well, okay. He went ahead, he bought. Now, he's regretting today because he could have bought more. He could have bought more. He's regretting today that he could have bought more because those lands today are going for between 20 million to 25 million naira. So imagine the high rate of return as it is. So which means that in real estate, it is not it is you can double your money, triple your money. You can have 10 times, even 20 times, but it is over time. And also, location matters a lot. Location matters a lot. There are those who will feel like, well, most of these places then didn't have titles, but there were people who still bought then, and eventually governments gave them title, gave them a right of ownership, and it became what it is today. So location is very key in any real estate investment. Location is very key. You have to look at location that has that potential of growth. I have mentioned about Ibejuleki, and I've mentioned about okay, for example, let me give you an example like Ikoyi, VI, Lekki, Lekki Phase 2, Ibejuleki. These locations would determine your initial investment. For example, if you were going to buy, if you were to buy let's say a plot of land in Ikoyi, maybe you're buying for 400 million. If you bring 400 million naira to Ibejuleki, you could buy as much as 100 plots, 200 plots in some cases, with the same amount of money. With the same amount of money. And but he could only purchase just a plot in Ikoyi. So the location matters a lot. The location matters. It determines what minimum investment that you can make. But also, my advice that I give to people as per real estate investment would be that buy in a location that has the potential for growth and buy as cheap as possible. Buy properties that has good title. For example, excision or a published excision, which is Gazette, or C of O, or a transferred C of O, which we call governor's consent, because that is going to show that okay, this land has moved from this person originally allocated to another person. So it is the governor's consent according to law 1978 Land Use Act that would show that this land has moved from one person to the other, and it's the same governor's consent that will keep. If you're going to transfer it, there's going to be another governor's consent that has to track that transfer. But that C of O remains in the name of the initial or the first or the previous owner to whom government allocated the land to. So you want to buy as cheaply as possible and with good title. Now, let me open your eyes to some ways to make money in real estate. There is what we call, go to the next slide. There is what we call build and sell. Build and sell. Obviously, if you're going to do build and sell, your location matters. Okay? You are looking at Ikoyi, Lekki, down to this place, maybe to Shango Tedo, You are looking at that area because we have lots of people who are looking for properties within this area that I just mentioned. Now, this is what build and sell is all about. Let's say you you bought a land for 40 million naira, okay, maybe somewhere in maybe in Lekki here, and you put up a 4-bedroom or 5-bedroom duplex for maybe about 35 million to 40 million. That is like 80 million, your cost of investment. Maybe title, for example, your building approvals and all the rest. Maybe that one costs maybe extra 5 million. So that is around 85 million. This same building in this area, okay, when you put it on sale, same building can go for as high as 120 million, 130 million, 140 million, depending on who is bargaining with you, depending on who is bargaining, and depending on how developed and secure the place, especially in the Lekki County here. Lekki County here, you can have duplexes going for between 120 million to 180 million. And if you look at the cost of acquiring the land and building, it may not be even up to 100 million. And yet, when it is sold, it's sold for 150, 170, 180, almost like 50% and above in return. But you have to see that it takes time, because you would have to, build, what the process of building is all about and all the rest. So if you cannot actively monitor it, you may want to get an engineer also with the project manager to help you do that. That is very important. It's part of the services that we do at Silver Pacific Homes, where I lead. Now, in the form of another one is this rental properties. You build such a, for example, let's say you are doing like 10 flats, 20 flats, okay? Let's say somewhere at Aja, and the land may cost you, maybe it's 1,200 square meter. The land is costing you, let's say around 40 million for such land, and you put up the building for around maybe 10 to, okay, let's say 20 flats. You may want to do two wings, and the building is costing you like 150 million, and you are renting out the properties, maybe say 2 million, 3 million, and you have 20 flats. That is like 40 million naira in the first year, if you get people to rent all in the first year. You are expecting such kind of return. But there is one thing I want to say, because you may say, okay, if I'm going to do real estate business or investment, I may need to have, I may need to have some money. Maybe I'm looking at 50 million, 100 million and above, which is true, depending on what kind of real estate you are looking at. Now, there is what we call crowd buying, or what we call what we call joint venture. What that is all about is this. For example, I came to you with a project, okay, that the land and to build the project, or to build the building, would cost 150 million. And when the building is done, we are able to sell for maybe 220, maybe 240, 250 million. Okay. Now, I could just what Uncle Amfela said, about private placement and all the rest. I could approach some people. Okay, give me 15 million naira. I could approach 10 people for 15 million naira each. and we put it together and we build that building in our names. Are you with me? We build that building in our names, then we sell. Now, another thing you say, okay, so we build, so we have to wait until we sell. Yes, we have to wait until we sell, but we will eventually sell it. And but still, another thing we provide in our organization is marketing. We have a group of consultants, a network consultants of over 5,000 active realtors who are selling. So imagine we are putting your building or this building before this over 5,000 active selling realtors. Then the time to sell the building would be shorter. And I can tell you within 6 months to 1 year, such building can be sold. I can tell you that such building can be sold. Some of us here have our sphere of network. We have our sphere of contact, whereby you will say, Mr. Kunle, there's this building that I have for sale. Maybe you may have some of your friends who might be interested and not the rest. You might not know. You might not know. But this is what crowd buying is all about, whereby all of us are buying it together. In the case that one person cannot fully buy or cannot fully fund the project. And this is very popular presently, as we have companies who would solicit for investments from you. We have companies who give. There are companies who give up to 30% return on investment that is made. On investment that is made. There are companies who give that. I heard that SEC is looking into that. There are those who promise up to 45%, 50%. I would be wary of that, but it is not that it is impossible. It is very possible. It is very possible to make such, okay? But regulations might have to kick into that. Now, there is also another thing which I would advise again when if you are starting out in real estate, especially for those who say, well, my initial investment that I have, or my minimum investment that I could afford right now, maybe it's 500,000, it's 1 million, it's 2 million. My advice would be to buy land. Buy land in places like Ibejuleki, Dangote refinery area. We have some estates which, when we started selling those places, they started selling for 500,000, and those places are going as high as 3 million today. A lot of them are not more available, they are sold out. There are those we started selling at 2 million today, they are sold at 5 million, 6 million today. There are the ones that we started selling around 10 million that are going as high as 20 million naira today. Now, one thing I would buttress on what my uncle had said earlier about real estate investment is not an investment you put in money, okay, and if you have this need for liquidity, like now, that you get it back. It's not such investment. It's not such investment. Yes, we are tweaking some things presently, which I would mention, but it's an investment whereby no matter what in fact, as inflation goes up, the prices of properties go up. So it is inflation almost inflation proof, especially in our climes here. It's not like in the US, whereby, when inflation happens like this, prices of property, houses are no more appealing to, for people to buy. So now here, as prices of properties are going up, for example, there is a particular Trillium Park Estate. When we started the project, we're buying cement for 2,000 naira, 2,200, 2,300. We are still in the midst of that project, and cement is now 4,002 with transportation. Now, we have no choice than to increase the prices. We were buying iron rods for 220, 230,000 naira. Today, it is between 490 and 495,000 naira per ton of iron rods. Now, what that means is that I'm going to put that cost, that inflation in price of the building material, I'm going to put it on the building. And whoever is interested to buy will have to buy at the after I have added my profit margin, would have to buy. And yes, people are still buying. People are still buying. Now, for those of you that you may have pool of funds, especially you're looking at 10 million, 20 million, you have that, or even 100 million. I may want to advise. Like, just as you have put up this program, okay, that the men's fellowship can look at locations, come up with whether commercial buildings that can keep generating returns through rent, or residential building that you can sell. I tell you, it's good to tie money. Yes, you keep money in the bank. You can't keep so much money at home, because of the risk involved, theft, and all the rest. But the money in the bank also does not really pay you anything. The interest rate is so low. The only reason we are keeping money in the bank is so that nobody will come to steal it in the house. So, but if you tie it to a real estate investment in a choice location, I tell you that property will yield for you. I passed through this place. I've been passing through this place for over 25. We came here when I was 12. And I used to see these places as forest those days. All these places were just forest, all through, except the road to enter into Ikota. But the rest were all forest, down to VGC, down to Ajay, down to Aja Park, where you have the Royal Garden. The Royal Garden used to be forest those days. But people with vision came and said, can't we make something good out of this forest? Can't we make a living space, or living spaces, residences, office complexes out of this forest? And they came in and they did all what you and I are seeing today. And I tell you, these properties are paying them. Just right opposite the church, you see a shopping complex. The owner of that complex gets rental income every year. Gets rental income. So these are ways that property investment helps you to build your wealth portfolio. I'm just going to, let's go to the next slide. Let me just quickly talk about a particular investment that we have right now. Please, next slide, please. Okay. There is a project we just started at, it's between Lagos and Ogun boundary at Ekwe. Yeah, but it is in Ogun State. But part of the land is falling at the back to Lagos State. Now, we came up, it is a resort and residential project. We came up with this project. There was a time I went to Lakwe Lakes. I don't know if anyone of us has heard of Lakwe Lakes. Lakwe Gulf, Gulf country. Now, I was there and I saw how beautiful the place is. I was like, wow. I bought a house there because I was like, I love to live in this place. We bought at 79 million. Now, they went to show us the chalet that they have for lodging. I was like, maybe we could lodge here, during the weekend. We would just come away from the kids. And they said, Oga, you want to lodge here and you didn't book like 3-4 months ago. I was like, what do you mean, book 3-4 months ago? He said, this place is always booked out. It's always booked out. I was like, always booked out? I said, so when will I guess? We said, maybe in 3-4 months' time. The lady showed me their booking schedules. I was like, okay, that was when something dawned on me that a place where people can rest away from the hustle and bustle is a very big market. Why do people travel to Dubai? Why do people travel to Seychelles? Why do people travel to Maldives? Just to go and have vacation, a week, 2 weeks vacation. They just want a place for them to cool, rejuvenate, recharge, then come back to the hustle and bustle. Imagine this traffic. We spent our journey like 2.5 hours down to this place. Now, so imagine you having to just step out of this environment to a place whereby you can recharge, where you can relax, and where you can rest, you can live, you can relieve. That's when we came with this project called Felicity. It's Nigeria's first resort and residential development. What we are doing is merging resorts and residence together. That is what we are doing. In total, we have let's go to the next slide. We have 272 units that we have. But now this place is what we call the village. The village is a place where you have just, there are clusters of village. We have 3 villages, okay? The highest number of building we have there is 18 units. And each of the houses are coming with swimming pool by default. So it's just a room, okay? The living room, the kitchen, the garden, and the pool. That is what is in the village. So this is just bungalow as it is. You can show us, please go to the next slide. Okay, so this is what the house would look like. It's just a 1-bed bungalow. Now, the next one is still a bungalow, but it's much bigger this time around. For example, you are coming with, let's say it's a couple, so you need a bigger space. Yes, this is this is an example of a place where you can get. Then another one is this. There is the next one. Please, let's go to the next one. This is we call this one La Casa. It's a 1-bedroom, fully detached maisonette, and also there is the 2-bedroom for those maybe you're coming with your family. So you have at least you have 2 rooms with a guest room alongside with it. Now the next one, I want to talk about. It is not on this slide. Is this now? With minimum investment of 22 million, you can get the 1-bedroom of the village, 1-bedroom bungalow in the village. Now, this is my catch. When I was at Blackwell Lakes, even recently still doing research and all the rest. And Blackwell Lakes, Lakampai Tropicana Resort, if you're going to lodge, Lakampai is always booked out also. It's always booked out. Now, you're going to lodge there, you're going to be looking at minimum of 120,000 naira per night to lodge. Now, imagine you have a bungalow of in the village, okay, at Felicity, and in a year it's been lodged out for 250 days at a minimum of like 100,000 naira. That is like 100,000 times 250 days. That is like 25 million naira, which you already gotten your initial investment and also some return as it is. Now, commercial properties is a form of commercial properties. The reason why I said 250 days, because you asked me, okay, what about the 100 days that is left, or 105 days that is left? The reason being that you may also want to use it. You may also want to occupy it. So we say, okay, yeah, the 100 days may be for you. But there are those who say, well, let me buy 2, 3, 4 units. One is for me, and the rest can go on that lodge, okay, on that lodge arrangement. Now, so imagine you have 2, 3, 4 units, and you are making 25 million naira in a year from it. That is like 75 million, 100 million naira in a year. Now, let me draw your attention to Lekki Ikoyi investment. So you're going to do something, you're going to buy a property in Ikoyi. A lot of us bought the Ikoyi property because we want to show people that we also have properties in Ikoyi, and it costs something like 500 million, 600 million naira. But if you bring such amount of money into commercial properties like this, it can give you over 15, 20 units of such that will keep returning. Apart from that, let's say you use such money over here in Lekki 2 here to build apartments, maybe apartment for rent, and the rent is going between 3 million to 4 million per year. You would be getting, let's say it is 20 units, okay, that you were able to build, okay, that is like 80 million in a year as your return from rental income. But if you were to rent such building, let's say a duplex that you bought in Ikoyi, you were to rent it, maybe you're renting for 20 million naira. If you see a client who is able to pay 20 million naira to rent the building, yet your minimum investment is as high as 500 million. And here, your minimum investment may be between 3 to 400 million, depending on how big the building is. And you are making more returns on your investments. This is to show us that location matters as it is. Location presently matters. You are having properties in Ikoyi is because, yes, bank sees you that you have property there, and they are able to support you or give you leverage to what that property can cover, as in to mitigate against their risk. So property investment is what I would encourage anyone to do all the time. But it's something that you should get lots of advice on, as per location, as per what potential returns that you can get from your investment. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much. I would take questions. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed your insight. One thing I was looking out for, and I'm hoping you'll be able to share with us, is how you started, your first experience at starting this out. I once read somewhere years ago a quote that says, buy land, they've stopped producing it. So you can't get wrong, I mean, investing in land. I hear you mention millions, millions, and our heart is cutting that. This seems like a big, a big thing to do. But again, you mentioned buy land as low as 250, 500, 1 million, depending on where you are buying. Location matters. So for me, the question I want to ask or clarification I'm seeking is, assuming you've bought land, the location is okay, but you don't have the money to develop or to build. I've heard something around developers where they will build probably 3 units or so and give you one. How does it work? Can you please shed light on that?
Okay, thank you very much. Um, that is what is called joint venture. Joint venture in the sense that I have something I am contributing. For example, you may have a land here. For example, this place, land could go as high as 50 million naira, 60 million naira here in Lekki 2 here. Now, and let's say the land is, let's say 2 plot, that is 120 million naira. With 2 plot, that is 1,200 square meter, it is possible. It is possible that I put up 15 apartments, or yes, 15 apartments or maisonette. I can put it there. Now, to build such, maybe it may cost me around 700 million because of the terrain of this place. I have to do piling on it. Now, so you have a land that costs 120 million, and I'm going to spend like 700 million to build. That is 700 million plus 120 million. That is like 820 million. Because it's high-rise approval, let's say I'm spending like 30 to 50 million for approval. That is like around 870 million. Okay. Now, if I'm putting 20 units in there, it is possible for me to sell each unit at 90 million, 100 million per unit. So what we do is that, okay, since your land costs 120 million, we can bargain that I give you 2 units, which if you sold may give you like 200 million, maybe you're selling at 100 million naira each. And because I'm also the developer, I have to make sure I sell for you. That is part of my obligations to you. Because if you don't give me the land, then I can't build on it. So that is how joint venture works. And it's also something that can be arranged even within, within the church. Those who are interested, they could say, okay, why not we look at this project? Okay, we all can put our funds together and come with it. It is also joint venture, because at the end of the day, the funds put together, from it you buy the land, from it you do all the approvals, building approvals and all you need to do, then you do your actual construction. So that is how joint venture really works, and it's a very lucrative form of real estate investment. Yes, you are contributing something, whether the land or you are contributing funds for us to build. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have questions coming up from people online. People are watching online. So the first question is there a possibility for someone to start small in real estate business with as little as 100,000 to 1 million, as most examples given involve with a lot of money? That's the first question. And the second question is there a platform where you are allowed to invest in, say, high-rise building investment on a crowdfunding basis so that you can own and share and get rewarded. I think you thrown light on that.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, lastly, okay, I think this one is also with the first question. People who have between 50,000 to 150K monthly, is there anything you can advise for them to invest in?
Okay, sir. Okay, this last question and the first question, they are like the same, the starting small. So you have between 50,000 to 1 million. Um, there are investment programs that a lot of real estate company runs, including mine. Okay. Now, what we do, we call ours own together. Own together. Okay. So what we do is that you, yes, you bring in your funds, maybe as minimum as 50,000 as it is, and in a year, we are able to give you 29% return on your money. In a year, we're able to give you 29% of the money. And what that money goes for is that we put it in projects that we are building presently. Because while we are building, we are also selling the project also. So there is this pool of cash, this pool of liquidity. So when it comes to the point, to the time we are supposed to pay you your capital and your return, then we pay that immediately. And there is the other one whereby you when you make your investment, okay, we give you your 29, we give you the return you're expecting that's supposed to get at the end of the year, we give you immediately. And at the end of the investment period, which usually 6 months or a year, depending, if it's 6 months, it's lower, okay, then we give you your main capital as it is. So this is another way. Now, if you say 1 million, okay, there are properties you can buy. Maybe if you go after Dangote Refinery or Ekpe, there are properties you can buy from 500 to 1 million, 1.5, 2 million in that axis. All you need to do is to buy it from a reputable developer or real estate company, okay? And they get you started that way. The other one which I have also on the second question that talks about, okay, if you we're talking about those that have just minimum amount, okay, which I've just mentioned on our platform own together. What we when you are signed in on this, okay, we, depending on what you're choosing, whether you want to get your capital and your return at the end of the tenure, or you want your return immediately. So let's say, for example, you are doing a 1 million naira and you're supposed to get 29%, that is 1,290,000. We give you the 290,000 first. And when it is at the end of that tenure, we give you your 1 million naira. If you like, you can compound it. If you like, at the end of the time, you can roll it over, to be compounded. So it all depends on what you are looking at. It all depends on what you are looking at, because these are projects that we are actively marketing and selling. So there is always the pool of funds for us to pay our investors, people who invested. There is the pool of funds to always pay them, because we are actively selling all of these properties as it is. Yes, sir. Okay, my story. Okay.
Okay.
Should I? Okay. Let him go ahead there. I will quickly answer.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
I think the skepticism of many people is the security of their investment. You said that these properties that you are marketing now, the idea is to sell it to some people,
Yes.
whereas you can collect money from various people, small funds, and then invest it in the building of these projects, which you are invariably trying to package and sell to some people, which is brilliant, you know. But I think what many people want to find out is that how safe is that money that they are giving you, the 50,000, the 100,000, the 1 million that you are using to commit into the building of these laudable projects, which you are going to sell to some rich people, because anybody that is going to put 22 million naira to buy a bungalow in Epe, you know, is rich, you know, because if people are not comfortable
Yes.
as to what is going to happen to their funds, it's going to be difficult for people to be convinced to put money into. Is there any way that people can be guaranteed that it's not some money thrown down the drain, you know, when they commit their head and small funds into such projects? Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, sir.
Estate all around, like a body that manage them in case of I put my money and I'm expecting for a year to give me return, and at the end of the day, God forbid, there's a crash. They have like a body that we can run into, like when our daddy was teaching us, there's this sec to buy shares, whatever, we can go to them that this and this. So we do have a body that manage your system.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, there is a body that the SEC also does that. SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission. They have what we call REITs, real estate investment trust. Okay, I don't know if they are true with the framework, because some time ago they were working on crowdfunding. They were coming up with a framework to regulate, that because of what happened with MMM and all the rest. So they were coming up with things like that. Okay, now the only difference between real estate crowdfunding is because the money is tied to a physical project that you can identify, you can walk into. Okay, oh, this is what they are using the funds to do. Now, what that also means is that the security for that money to is that physical property that has been built or that is being built. That is this also security for that money, because there's going to be a certificate, okay, certificate of investment, okay, that you sponsored this project that is about to start or that is ongoing. So that project itself is a security for it. Now, on how I started, thank you very much, Ma. I started, I was into software engineering, computer science, LASU, and I always had my mind on real estate. It was through someone Pastor Taiwo Adetunji. Those days, I call him Father Abraham. He has lots of properties, lot of lands. So those days, he would take me. I would go to school at Marwa then. That was around 2009, 10, 11. He would take me to his property. He would show me lots of them, and I was getting inspired. Like, how can somebody own all of these things? And he was showing me around. He was showing me around. But over time, I began to make money from software engineering. I was doing a young man. I wasn't married then. From the software I made, one of the schools was paying me 600,000 per term. I was still living in my father's house. I had other schools who were paying me 500, 1 million, like that. So I had that fund. My dad gave me a car. So I really didn't have much expenses I was making. I was eating food free. So I started with real estate. I just bought some land, left it there. But what I found out is that when it comes to real estate, especially in our Ibejuleki axis, if you are bought from Omonile, you can't buy land from Omonile and go to bed. It's almost impossible. A lot of us came back to find out houses standing on our land. What happened? At the end, they say, oh, God, sorry, we'll give you another place. Another place they're giving you may be someone else's land. Okay, so these were my lessons. I found out that, okay, I could not do real estate away from real estate. I was just still busy doing my software in engineering consulting. Then I decided to move into real estate. So the land I had bought, I converted it and packaged it as an estate. Something I had bought at 150,000 naira then, I started selling at 600,000 naira to people. So I was making money from it. I was like, money inside this thing, and from there we expanded to the next project, to the next project, to the next project. We have 15 projects to our name as it is right now. But it was something that we started small. We started small. Now, for those, it may be impossible right now to get 150,000 naira property, except you are going to Ogun State. Even some places you can't get. Okay, but you can sure get 400,000, 500,000, properties. But it depends on what you're using the property for, because the location may not be encouraging as at now. It may be a bush as it is, but I tell you, the city of today was a bush of yesterday. And these are the principles that we have followed. We started small and we have become what we are today, and we are still aspiring higher to greater heights. So that was how I started. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
There are a lot of properties scattered over Lagos in particular that they have things they will tell you, come and pay. That is how will I put it? They have a kind of a schedule of payment.
Okay.
Of property that after paying so amount, you pay this. Maybe you want to pay in 1 year, in 6 months, in 2 years, depending on the organization you're dealing with. And they will give you a plot of land. And you also discover that after paying, even though you're getting receipt, each time you make payment, you get receipt. After payment, no allocation. And even if they give you allocation paper, it's not tied to any particular, at times they oversubscribe, put it that way. More people pay for the available portion that they have.
Yes.
So when it comes to actually giving you that land, it does not exist. You have allocation paper, it's not tied to anything. So how can, because at times you say, okay, they're not real, but they're real. They're registered. You go to Lagos State government, they're all registered organizations.
Yes.
But this happened. How can somebody, because it's not something I would like to happen to me.
Yes.
How can you get out of this?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Now, on the issue of allocation, it happens, okay? I remember then when we were coming into this business, an issue we found out that we capitalized on was instant allocation. We found out people were not doing instant allocation. They were like, okay, we will call you for allocation and not the rest. But we said, why not? Why not? And the reason why a lot were not doing this allocation because they had not cleared the land, they had not implemented, the layouts that Surveyor gave them. They only had it on paper, but they have not really implemented it on the ground. So we decided, okay, why, before we put this property out, why don't we have the place cleared and the layout implemented on the ground? So we walk people to the site and say, okay, when you get there, you would have seen it. This place is being allocated to so and so. This is allocated to so and so, but this place is available. Would you like this place? Or maybe the other place over there is open also. You can choose your allocation right there, even before you make payment. And you can go back to the office and make your payment, document everything, and have it. And it's a place you can come back to anytime, just to be sure. Maybe they have not allocated my land. It happens that yes, you may have gotten an allocation and the company may allocate it to someone else because of oversubscription. But we are careful in that part. Once we have allocated, we are sold up to 85% of what is available in an estate. We close the estate as sold out because we don't want to sell all the land at that price. We are looking at a situation whereby in the future, we still have some properties that we have retained for ourselves in that particular estate. So when it comes to allocation with us, you get to allocation instantly. It depends on the company you are dealing with. Depending on the company you are dealing with, there are companies whereby, yes, you have put in money there, the land is not coming, also the money is not coming. Follow them up legally. Yes, follow them up legally. Okay, number one, you can report this to the police. Okay, yes, let your lawyer do that for you, report the matter to the police, or you can report to EFCC. Though EFCC only attends to matter of 10 million and above. That's what they attend to. I've been taken to EFCC before when somebody bought a property from us, 4 plots, but the property came from a proceed of another fraud, and they traced the money to our account. They called us, they said, "Okay, we saw this 10 million in your account from this person who got the money from wrong means. We want our money. We want the money back." And I had no choice. My lawyer was saying, "Yeah, Shebi, we have given the land to the person. Let the EFCC go and take the land." And EFCC said, "Well, we are not Economic and Land Crime Commission. We are Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. We only follow the money, naira and kobo. We found it in your account, and we want it back. Shebi, at the end of the day, Shebi, the land belongs to you." And what they helped me to do, they collected the paper of that land from that person, and I gave them the money back. So you can report the matter to EFCC. And again, companies who are serious about this business will not want their name to be dragged in the mud. So if the company, if they are still operating, okay, and you have your lawyer write them, and strongly state the steps you're going to take if within so period your money is not coming or your fiscal allocation is not coming. The company will find a way. If they are serious about the business, they will find a way to make sure you either get your money or you get your allocation. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for your time. God bless you.
I think what we can deduct from this is we need to look at credibility, the kind of people that we are dealing with. And by the grace of God, we will ensure that people that will come to talk to us here will be people of credible characters, so that if by chance we want to do any business with them, we won't have any cause to regret. Quickly, we go to the third presentation, which is on crypto. And Brother Abiodun Akala is going to present that from where he is. I just want to implore us to spend a few minutes for that. I know how it can be if someone is not physically present, but I can assure you that they will do a good job of it, and we will still enjoy the last few minutes of the presentation. Please bear with us. I understand the media, they are still trying to put it together. Just give us like 1 minute. Everything will be on, including hearing from him, from where he is. So we enjoy it. And then thereafter, we can come up with the closing remark. Thank you. Hello, can we all hear me? Right, Emmanuel, are we ready? Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So this afternoon, we're going to be looking at cryptocurrency investments. I believe quite a number of us would have come across cryptocurrency in one way or the other, whether we heard about it. I mean, the whole essence of this, let me just confirm that I can be heard. So the whole essence of this presentation is just how to share what is out there and be able to familiarize ourselves with, if we want to go into this kind of investment, what are the things that we need to do? So quickly for this presentation, we're going to be looking at what is a cryptocurrency. Then we'll talk briefly about blockchain technology. What is that all about? And then we'll look at the various types of cryptocurrencies and their differences. Then we'll review what are the guidelines to cryptocurrency investment, if you want to go into that. And what are the various cryptocurrency options? And this could be in form of savings, rewards, earnings, borrowings. Then finally, we'll talk about cryptocurrency trading. So what is a cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is a digital or virtual currency, which is actually secured by cryptography. And that makes it very impossible to counterfeit. It's not your physical money, it's digital, so it's virtual, but it is used to store value. And many cryptocurrencies, they are based on decentralized networks using what we call blockchain technology. And the transactions that occur, in this time, within the blockchain, they are enforced by a network of unrelated computers. Mostly these are peer-to-peer. It's not controlled by any central. You are not like, let's say you want to access a website and you go to Amazon. That's Amazon website. It's their server. But this one, nobody controls it. Everybody that has the permission can log in and they connect with that particular network. So what are the key features of cryptocurrency? The first key one is that the fact that it is not issued by any central bank. So it is immune to control and manipulation. Recently, I think Nigeria issued what we call e-Naira. That is still, although it's on a blockchain technology, but it is still being controlled by central bank. Whereas cryptocurrency, nobody is expected to control it. Sorry, going too far. So it operates in decentralized structure. So that means it's on the control of government or central authorities, and there are no middleman. When you put your money in the bank today, the bank is a middleman that more or less serves as a control between you and whoever you transact with, the other customer. So the name cryptocurrency is a combination of the word cryptography and currency, and that's what gives that name. And what is cryptography? It's actually mathematical and computational practice of encoding and decoding data, such that it's only the intended recipient that will be able to, see what has been passed on. And basically, it enables transaction to be processed securely, permissionlessly. You don't need anybody's control to be able to, operate within that sphere, and merely anonymously without any central authority. Now, cryptocurrency can be mined, and it can be purchased from cryptocurrency exchanges. Now, one of the best features is that the transactions are cheaper and faster than standard financial platforms. Through this means, I have personally sent, some USD dollar to somebody in the US. It cost me, and within 5 minutes, we are done with the transaction. It costs me maximum of $1, and the person will receive the money in dollar over there, in the US. So, what is blockchain technology? Blockchain technology, and the blockchain itself is what we call decentralized ledger. A ledger is a record of transactions. When you open an account in a bank, they keep a ledger for you. So, and that's the same thing that blockchain does. But this time, ledger is decentralized. Anybody sees what is there. And, that's the decentralized ledger of what transactions across peer-to-peer network. Peer-to-peer means that anybody can join. And there is, I think that is
indicated in this particular drawing here. I'll go through that. So by using this technology, participants can perform transactions without the need of any central sanctifying authority. And application of the technology is limitless. It can be applied in any industry, banking, sports, supply chain, media, real estate, name it. So quickly, the graphical demonstration of how it works. Somebody requests a transaction. It goes through this peer-to-peer network, and there is validation. That validation is done by the computers, and there will be thousands of them. So once that is verified, that particular transaction is now, and okay, the key thing is that the transaction can be contract. So we'll be talking about what we call smart contracts. It could be records, it could be any other information. Once that is verified, that particular verified data is now added to the block. It becomes a chain, and it creates a new block on that data for that ledger. And the new block is now added to the existing blockchain, and it continues, and that transaction completes. The end user gets the information, and it does this within seconds. Really, so what are the various types of cryptocurrency? I think the name, anytime anybody mentions cryptocurrency, is Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin is the first cryptocurrency to be created in January 2009, following the white paper ideas by one mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008. Nobody knows who this person was, and who he is even up to date. But I say it's the most popular crypto and currently the king of cryptocurrencies. BTC has dominance when you view from the point of view of market, capitalization. As of today, the total market value of cryptocurrency, the ratio of BTC is 40.9. And beyond that, sorry, this thing keeps going up. Beyond that, maximum supply of BTC is spent at 21 million. I think about 19 point something is in supply today. So what that means is that demand and supply will come in, and people believe that BTC, which is currently around $40,000 today, will at a day, in future, rise up to $100,000. Now, one thing about BTC is that the market almost always follows the direction of BTC price movement. If BTC price moves is down today, almost all the price of cryptocurrency will follow suit. Now, the other type of cryptocurrency is called altcoin, shorting alternative coin. That means every other coin that has been created that is not BTC is categorized under this particular group. And there are several of them, more than 2,000 have been created. In this group, we have what we call Ether, ETH, which is a native token on the Ethereum platform, is the king of all altcoin. And why that? The platform for Ethereum is created such that other developers can come and create what we call tokens and run different forms of business. You can liken it to, let's say, iOS software of Apple. You have, when you go to the App Store, there are several hundreds of apps that developers have created. So also developers can create different types of apps that do any kind of thing that you want it to do on the Ethereum platform. So one of those is what we call it decentralized applications, just like your app on the what we call the Apple Store or your Play Store on Google Android. And these applications have utilities, for real life issues. Now, another form of cryptocurrency is called stablecoin. Now, cryptocurrency is very volatile, so in that regard, certain coins are created such that they are pegged to a stable fiat currency. Fiat currency is your normal currency like Naira, USD, and so. USD is more or less, predominant in the sense that is the global currency. So they peg it to that, and they tell me, whatever price of USD is today. So most of the time, those currencies, the stable coin, their value to USD is almost the same. See them. The platform, that does the way the original developer wants it to run. Okay, so you have several like Bitcoin, Litecoin, the Ethereum platform we talked about. So they exist in their blockchain. Now tokens are not created on existing blockchains, So tokens are like your apps that are, let's say, they are created on iOS, and then you have go to App Store and you see quite a lot of apps there. So these are the tokens. They are actually for a particular purpose, to address a particular issue or utility. For instance, anything can be tokenized. What that means that there is a token called weak power. Weak power is a good example of a token that represents a physical thing. So it represents electricity. So anybody, users can buy and sell electricity on that blockchain using smart contracts. But the token that we use to operate in that regard is WPR, which is called, weak power. So for instance, if you want to sell your house is physical. So what you then do is you create a token, which is a currency, virtual currency, and that token will now be represented or represent that your house. And transaction can take place, through smart contracts. People can buy your house, but that token is created. It's not like your coin that has the same value and it's the same everywhere. So through tokens, NFT. You probably have heard about NFT, non-fungible token. It's a unique digital object that represents both tangible and intangible items. It could be a graphic art, GIS, videos, sports. Quite a lot of people have made money through this. Designers, makers, especially celebrities. It could be one old photograph and you tokenize it, you put it on any of these NFT marketplace, and somebody likes it, and they pay millions of dollars for it. So that's about token and the coins. So you can see them graphically built. Coins are built on blockchain native to a particular technology. It requires a lot of significant resources and skills to create. And of course, you distribute it through mining. If you want to continue to make that blockchain to grow, you mine. And mining involves quite a lot of power and computer, mathematical algorithm. It can be used to store value or transfer money, and it's valid with any merchant who uses that currency. So the same Bitcoin I have today has the same value as any Bitcoin anybody has anywhere. But token, as I said, token is built on the existing blockchain. It is really easy to create. I can create a token today if I have the means, or quickly talk to a particular developer. They can create it and can name it my own name, but it has to serve a particular utility for people to want to invest in it or want to use it or be identified with it. So it's valid with one merchant. It can only be used for that particular purpose, but it can go and address a variety of uses: security, asset, reputation, and it can come in various forms. Now, in terms of crypto market cap today, I've mentioned that Bitcoin is I asked 40% dominance, and this is presented this way. As of today, Bitcoin value is $753 billion in market capitalization. Closely, I'm followed by Ethereum. And these are the first 10 cryptocurrency in terms of market capitalization. So now I put here that several resources, because one of the key things that everybody has, when it comes to investment, is you have to do research. There are several resources, and these are part of the resources you can use to actually have an idea about that cryptocurrency you want to invest in. There are quite a lot even on the video, YouTube. So what are the golden rules when it comes to cryptocurrency investment? It follows most of the rule of investment. Invest only what you can afford to lose. Brother was telling us that you put your money in stock today, it might be zero tomorrow, or the people that are behind it, or that bad person goes bankrupt. So it's the same thing. Put what you can afford to lose. Now the other thing is, it should not ever be seen as a get-rich-quick venture, even though it has potential for exponential wealth growth. I will show us a slide that indicates that. Now, when it comes to crypto, patience is key. Patience as to where to buy and then when to sell. So you shouldn't invest under pressure. That's okay. I need this money now. I target to make $10 tomorrow. Let me put it here. Maybe in the next 20 days, it would have appreciated. Maybe not. We always say, do your own research, DYOR. So performance does never guarantee the future one. So we equally advise that you take profit as much as possible, as practically possible. Determine your own, level. So you determine your own level of participation, right? Okay, determine your own investment strategy and stick with it. I know somebody I introduced the cryptocurrency to. She only trades Ethereum, and she's happy with it. Today, she makes her money on a daily basis, and she shares experience. Crypto is traded 24/7. This is the only market that never sleeps. So around the clock, once you have your telephone with you, you can continue to trade with it. And it has valuable use reputable exchange. A lot of people will advise that you can buy Bitcoin with us, you can trade with us. Please use reputable ones like Binance. It's about the biggest. Now, as a new asset of class, crypto is widely considered to be very volatile, and that is true. The price today can be here today and be there tomorrow. I'll quickly share my own experience going into this. For December 2020, I had decided based on a research I did. I was working on something. By the way, I operate in oil and gas industry. So I did a research and showed that over the course of years, since 1978, our currency has always been devalued. And especially when oil price goes down, the value never goes up. So I decided that, well, I need to find an investment that will earn me dollar. And it's dollar to a large extent is stable. And that's what even really brought me to cryptocurrency. So I did an investment. So I earned about $360 as profit. But it was in BTC, Bitcoin. So I was going to give it to somebody in the US. And before you know it, within a week, Bitcoin price went from 20,000 to 40,000. And that 360 became 720. Just within a week, I said, wow. So that drew my interest. Of course, it's very risky, but at the same time, you just need to know what you are doing. So that's how I got into cryptocurrency investments then. Now, historical return on investment. Look at this. That December 2020, I just picked about 5 coins. AVE was 89. The price went as high as 620 on May 18, 2021. Okay, so if you had invested $50 then, your price, I mean, it would have been worth $371 today, gain of 6,044%. But the price today has come down to 50%. So I refer to what Brother Antala was saying, that when you have an opportunity to take profit, because price can go up and down. But look at Bake, for instance. Bake was 0.022. The price went as high as $8.38 on May 2nd. So if you put $50 investment, it would have been worth $18,000 as at that time, just within 6 months. But today the price has come down to 0.84. It's still a good amount, but of course that's divided by 10. So one can see how profitable it could be, but you can see at the same time the prices that were 662 or very high as at almost a year ago, they are trading almost half or less than that their current rate. So now, what are the various investment options for me when it comes to cryptocurrency? We have what we call flexible savings. So just like you put your money in the bank today, I don't know how much they give us, maybe 2% per annum when you put it in savings. So you can do flexible savings with your crypto that you have. You can do what we call lock savings, cost taking. It gives you higher percentage. You can do what we call lush pool. Then there is ability for you to loan, from the platform, and then you can trade. So I'll go through that briefly, one after the other. So when it comes to flexible savings, so you are utilizing your ideal cryptocurrency to earn daily interest. So I just showed to us a particular asset, ASX, as a 20% APY. That's about 20% per annum, interest rate. I don't think any bank will give you that in savings in Nigeria today if you put your money in savings. So this ASX, so these are the for this particular account, these are the various investments that have been done. So we see 20%, that's the flexible savings. So on a daily basis, these are the interest that is accruing, and then it comes back to your wallet. You can see what you are gaining on a daily basis, and it's flexible. And if you set it to auto, reinvest to continue like that. So, but if you want something more, you have what we call lock savings. It's like your fixed deposit. So, on there's a particular case here, you can have up to 120% APY, which is like interest in a year. That's like 10% per month. So on this ASX, that's 120% you are giving, but you lock it up for 90 days. So for 3 months, you are getting 10% on a monthly basis. You have the BSW, it's about 100% per annum. It's locked up for 90 days. Again, you see your interest rate being paid to you on a daily basis. So the launch pool, I know Brother Afela talked about a private investment. So, okay, this is more or less, okay, if a coin is going to be launched, you can invest in advance before it is listed on a particular exchange. So Binance has that launch pool. So I put a figure. There is a particular coin that was launched recently, Step N. It's for those who want healthy lifestyle, jogging, running. As you do your exercise, you earn rewards. They pay you. Once you have this particular coin. So launched, investors several of them came together and put about $3.2 billion, ahead to purchase GMT before it was listed. So GMT was listed, I think, on 3rd of March or so at 0.01. The price today is about 3 point something. That's about 300% rise. So if you invested $100 as at that lot, hopefully they give you all the worth of GMT as at that time, then your investment will be worth $30,000 within a month that this coin is launched. So we have what we call crypto loans. If I have BTC today, I can use my BTC to actually get a loan, which I can use to invest outside the platform. I don't necessarily have to use it to trade. I can take that money out and use it to fund my own business. And you get as low as like 9%. This is example I put together here. If you borrow 1,000 USD, you pay only $45 on it over 6 months, and it's about 9% interest. That's $45. Trading, okay, this is where you guys interesting. So the RI talked about before was trading. If you bought and you sell. So Binance provides you 2 options. You can trade manually. You know what the price is, and you buy it, you wait, and you sell. But they also have what we call strategic and grid trading. So you can pick a particular cryptocurrency, and when you say create that particular trading, it will give you a price range and how many grids to create. So once you put your money, because this is spot now, spot means that you are using your own money. They are not going to borrow you any money. And you can't be forced to sell it. Even if the price goes down, you can wait until the price goes up. So this particular CRV was created, and you can see when it is running, I think about how much, $200 or $300 investment there. So the system would generate orders down, and it will continue to generate depending on the price movement. It will buy and sell consistently. This is the result of some of the sales that's made. So once it's for you automatically. So the other option, features, this is what we call leverage trading. The system or the exchange you borrow your money. So let's say you have $100 and you choose to leverage it by 20% or 50%. So that means if it's 20%, you will now have $2,000 worth of money to buy. But because you borrow that money, you pay little interest. But if the price goes down and it goes against you, you can lose your entire money. Because the exchange will take their money first. They have what they call liquidation. They watch it. Once the price I think I was lost for some time. Can we all hear me now? I'm about writing up. These are about the next 2 slides. Can we all hear me? Hello? Can we all hear me? All right, okay, so I go ahead. So quickly, you can set the same strategy. So for instance, this H bar was $200 or $300 investment at 20% leverage. So you are allowed to use up to $6,000 to buy. And when you set it, it buys and sells and sells. At the end of the day, within how many days, 1 day or so, you make $20, So that's one other way. This particular one was for 3 days, $42. But if you look at Atom for 10 days, the loss is about $1. So you can lose or gain. It just to show that that is one way about it. So that's the end of the presentation. So if there are any questions and answer, and if I'm cut off, I'm going to try to log in again. And if there are questions, okay, sorry, I think I've lost my screen. All right, I understand I lost my screen for some time. So I don't know where we got to, but I was discussing the futures grid trading, and shows that for the H-bar, it was created with about $300. So at a leverage of 20, so you have up to $6,000 to sell, to buy to trade. And I think that strategy lasted for like 1 day or so with a profit of about $20. So there's another case where it was more. But of course, $42, I think that was for 3 days. But it just shows that the system can buy and sell for you, without you needing to do anything once you have set it. You don't need to bother about what to buy and sell. To buy and sell within that range. So that's all for cryptocurrency investments. The platform is open for question and answer, and for us to just share knowledge generally. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. I think we can reserve our questions for Borakala when he comes back, because of this.
Hello, am I still connected?
Please tell him that he's disconnected. Cut him off. The question that we want to ask, you can ask him when we see him, because this connection is giving us an issue, and it's not going to give room for proper questions and feedback. So please bear with us. When he comes, I believe by next week or so, he'll be around, so he can answer our question one-on-one. We'll have where is brother? We'll have the closing remark now. I'll call on Brother Shegun to give us a closing remark, and then we'll have the closing prayer later. Thank you, sir.
Praise the Lord. We are still in church, so we can say praise the Lord. I hope we've enjoyed the program. It's been quite educative, and I'm sure we have gained a lot. Okay. With this, I think we are still going to bring these speakers back to us. But before we do that, we will ensure that we publicize it more. And probably if we have the permission of the pastorate, maybe we will do it on a Sunday. But the long and short of everything we've been talking about, the summary of it all is that it is not just about bills. Yes, we all have expenses, but we should always make time to save and to invest. Save and to invest. Yoruba, we say, "Ema fi owo mewa jeun," and it's backed up by the Bible. So we should not eat everything as it comes. We should spare some to invest. And once we invest, we can be assured of bountiful harvest. Okay, so moving on behalf of the executives of the Men's Fellowship and all the members of the Men's Fellowship, we'd like to say a very big thank you for finding time to join us for this very important program. And as I asked earlier, I'm sure we have been richly blessed. Special thanks to our Vice President, Special thanks to our Vice President, Bro Fela and Fela, for giving us an insight what shares and stock and bond is all about. Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate all you have done for us today. We also like to especially thank our brother Samuel Ikoje, for treating the topic on real property. It has been quite instructive, and I'm sure we have all gained a lot. Big thank you to our president, Deacon Abiodun Akala, for taking us on that crypto. Sir, I don't know if you are watching us. I will still need to get in touch with you because I need to know more about this crypto. I have the Binance app, but I don't know how to use it. So I'll need to see you specially. And for all our speakers, I'm sure so many of us would like to get in touch with you. Perhaps you can leave your complimentary card so we can pick and reach out to you. That would be very helpful. Lastly, I'd like to say a very big thank you to our wives for finding time to join us for this very instructive seminar. So as we have gained, I'm sure you too, you have also gained a lot. God will continue to bless you. Our time is fast spent, so without wasting time, I'll call on our brother Emmanuel to come and give us the closing prayer. Let's clap for Jesus.
Praise the Lord. May we rise and pray. Our Father and our God, we thank you for today. We bless your name. We give you all the glory. We give you all the honor. We give you all adorations, O Lord. Father, we thank you for what we've been taught, O Lord God, and we pray that whatever we have learned today, may it not depart from us, O Lord, in the name of Jesus. And at the end of the day, we will have cause to glorify your name more and more in Jesus' name. Thank you, Lord God, for today. For in Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen. Thank you.